Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, we had quite a day today. As you know, we've been in the middle of the mechanic dilemma. That's one where you break down in the wrong place and can't get to your regular mechanic that you've formed some kind of trusting relationship with, if there is such a thing. I'm sure that there is. Many of our messages have come from mechanics who would do anything to be able to help us out, but they live 10 or 12,000 miles away, so it's a little bit of a commute. Well, anyway, to bring you up to speed, it doesn't seem like a very good job was done on our little red, so we're going to be back in the same problem, same issue. We'll be taking it to our regular mechanic, telling him to look over it, and we'll have to bite the bullet and do whatever has to be done. The problem with Little Red is that he has been, my friend Brian says, you did your best to beat that, you did your best to kill the Little Red, but you didn't succeed. Well, I drove the Little Red back today, and if it's possible to feel sorry for an inanimate object, I feel sorry for the Little Red, because the Little Red has received more punishment than any inanimate object should. It's just been beaten down and repaired and beaten again and repaired, and finally it crapped out. Not good news, and that's the first time that I've driven it for a while too. And was shocked at just how what kind of shape it's in. Sounds like a big bag or a big can of nuts and bolts being shaken up and down. So it overheated, just been rebuilt, and it overheated, go figure. So we will not complain about it, we'll just put it down to experience, or as my lovely wife says, it's all part of the adventure. Now, as if that wasn't enough, on my way down today, we had a couple of little bangs and knocks and gronks from the Big Blue, which we really didn't want to start talking about, but it's there to be talked about. And then on the way home, I'm bringing Nanai and Lena and Bachoy and Beth. And we're coming back home because we were going to drop the ladies off, and I was going to go back and do what had to be done with sorry, I'm blanking on it almost here. We had to pick up our cement mixer. It finally stopped raining and we had to pick up the cement mixer. Well, on the way down to do that, well, I was on the way back. Sorry, I'll get this right in a moment. I was on the way back with the ladies. I was going to turn around once I got to the house and go straight back and do what had to be done in Talabon. Well, we didn't get all the way home. Halfway up, we abandoned the trip for the ladies, and I turned tail and tried to get back to the road. That didn't go so well because the fault developed on the Big Blue, and it seems like some kind of linkage, rubber bushing has given way, and the whole 4x4 linkage is not working, or was working spasmodically. Add to that I drove through one of the difficult patches and got bogged down. It never rains, but it pours. Well, anyway, it wasn't so bad, because for one thing, it was a beautiful day. The rain had stopped, the sun was shining, blue skies, puffy clouds, and it was okay. Plus, I managed to dig myself out, got going with a machete that my friend, a bolo, as they say in the Philippines, that my friend Brian had given me, that was super sharp, and I hacked away a few bits and branches and stuff, stuck them under the wheel, and well, managed to get out. Well, another couple of sticky little points where I actually found that as long as I didn't engage or try to engage the 4x4, it was okay. But as soon as I tried to do that, it sounded like it was banging in and out. I'm not a mechanic, and I'm sure that a lot of people will say, ah, I know that. Well, I wish I had your knowledge, but I don't. So anyway, I nursed it down to the road with a few difficult points where I thought that I wasn't going to get out, and then that's when being up in the mountains really starts to take its toll, because as we found out recently with the red, when it broke down, we had to go into Taliban, drive down somebody who didn't really get in the swing of the repair, though eventually we did get the repair done, but it was very difficult bringing a mechanic up into the mountains and him lying down in the road and trying to fix the red, which he did in the end. Well, what happened was then, as soon as we got down to the road, I got down to the road, put it into two-wheel drive. In other words, I disengaged the 4x4 permanently and rode quite uneventfully into town. Got Timio on the way, picked up the we went to see Nestor, my usual mechanic. He crawled under the Big Blue and found out what he believes it is. Very quickly, it didn't. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, it didn't sound, from what he said, as if it was going to be a difficult thing. He said, I'll just have to find a bushing for you. Come back tomorrow, 10 o'clock, and we'll fix you up. I thought that the whole front end was going to drop off into the road, into a collection of nuts and bolts and suspension arms and the like, and my worst fears were not realized. So we're hopeful that the Big Blue will be back on the road, and then it will be a matter of dropping the red off at Nestor's and getting him to look it over and do what has to be done, because that little car, that little truck, is a favourite of Beth. It marked the turn of when we started to do things differently on the hill, on our little mountain top, and she holds it in some sentimental regard, which is ironic because she's the one that calls me sentimental. So that brings us up to date on the Big Blue and the Little Red. The reason that we have a lot of trouble, some people said, well, you just need to get rid of it, dump that red, it's gone past. It's just not, it's not so easy, and we will end up spending money on it because probably we'll pull it out of work on the building, stop overloading it with gravel and sand, and we'll try to keep it alive. That's what Beth wants to do, and she feels that she can drive that little guy, and then I'm up for anything on that, whatever she wants. So tomorrow we'll reveal, if not all, at least something that will get us back on the road, and then we'll be looking at the next step, which is to get our road from the tunnel up to the house in concrete, and that's the challenge. And luckily, thanks so much from Pokiko, that we're able to do that with a cement mixer. And then we're going to be looking for house 25. Thanks for looking in. Bye for now.